Everything is so blue. I read a murder mystery once where part of the reveal, only part of the reveal, was that one of the people murdered had been poisoned with a drug. Minerva, must you do that? I told you when we started that you had to sit quietly. We agreed that you would do so. Now look at you. Had been poisoned with a drug that one of the more unusual rare side effects was that it makes the person's vision go blue before they die. And sometimes I look at this and I just think, that seems to be happening now. Like, everything is so very blue. This week it's extra blue because even the cup is blue. That was a little weird digression there to start off with. Can you digress without ever really, like, having already gotten started on a tangent? You just begin with the digression? Is that a digression? I don't know. Anyway, I have I've gone on a tangent already. So, I have notes. I just watched the video, so hopefully it will work. Okay, so I had something I was going to say there. I had to, something came into my mind, and I was going to say it, but I didn't say it fast enough, and now it's gone again. It's already left. I was lonely. Okay, so I'm just going to start with my notes. Maybe, I don't know why I have gotten sort of amused by this thing about the name rectangles, but like I'm always like excited to see how it's going to turn out this week. Whenever you post one, I don't know why it's a funny or interesting, but I do find it like an amusing little like thing. I do like your custom notebook thing. I think that's neat. I think that's a neat thing to do. Like, and if it's, if it's something that's fun and like helpful, like you use the notebooks, if you get to like have the cover that you want on the notebooks, then that is great. And I like it. I like that you do that. I mean, like I said, I used to bind my own notebooks, so, which is fun and like whatever, but like, takes a certain amount of effort, and also you have to like have materials for it, and that is the main reason that I stopped doing it, because I never had like the stuff to make things out of, and it was a pain. Yeah, I think though that like if you have something that you really enjoy, like you're talking about the magnets, like if they bring you that much joy, then like it is worth it. Especially if you think about like prorating it over time, like the amount of time that you have had the magnets and the amount of joy that you have gotten over that period of time makes it very cheap. The next thing I have written on here is hair dyes, which I think was about, you asked if there were hair dyes I could use. I don't really know. I have not researched hair dyes. I would have said no, except that I know that someone in the corn community that I follow mentioned dyeing their hair, like, I don't know, a couple years ago, and they are like much more sensitive than I am, so like if they can use a hair dye, I would assume that I could probably use a hair dye, but I don't know what kind of hair dye they were using, and I'm sure that they must have been in a very well ventilated space and were possibly wearing a mask and or an actual respirator. So I don't know. It's been a really long time since I dyed my hair. I think maybe the last time that I did it might have been when I had the streaks, my orange streaks, which would mean, I think probably the last time I dyed my hair I was like maybe 22-ish. So it's been a while. That would be 20 years ago. So like, yeah, it's been a while. And in fact, like, I just started to say, like, you were talking about tattoos and stuff, and not being able to have tattoos at work, which fits in with the hair dye situation, because I was just thinking that on last Friday, the Friday that has just passed, my tattoos turned 20 years old. I have, I don't know if you can see. I know I have shown them on the channel before. I have a frog, and then I have a daisy on my ankle. It has been some time since I've shown them, but I know they're on here somewhere. 20 years old. Wow. Why can you not have your, like, weird hair dye with clients where I don't really know what kind of, like, what you do exactly, or like, is it just that they like that you work in an industry that would feel it was unprofessional, or is it that you, like, your boss specifically has a problem with it, or what? I don't know. I don't know. It feels like, in general, like, society is much more, like, willing to have people, even, like, in customer facing jobs, with, like, weird hair colors, or, like, tattoos or piercings or whatever. Because, like, when I was in high school, like, in the 90s, we were talking about the 90s again, like, when I was in high school, like, teachers would literally be like, you cannot get a tattoo that is in a visible place, or a piercing that is in a visible place, except for your ears, because you will never get a job again in your life. Like, no one will hire you. And it was really like, and it was true, like, if you had, like, a tattoo or something that was, like, on your wrist or your hand or something like that, something that you couldn't cover up with long sleeves or something, like, it was genuinely something that people would refuse to hire you for, and there were only, like, you could be, like, a bartender or something like that. That was about it. And now, like, people have tattoos all over the place, and, like, it's nobody thinks anything of it anymore in the same way that they once did. So, I mean, that's good, I guess. I don't know. I've sort of gone off the thing there. Eyebrow piercing. You said you were thinking about an eyebrow piercing. That would be good. I've had, like, a couple friends who had eyebrow piercings. I was trying to think if I knew anybody recently with piercings, but I don't think that I do, because I don't know anybody except you guys at this point, really. You're talking about Tumblr. I do really love Tumblr. I used to be on Tumblr a lot, and then I stopped, not because I didn't like Tumblr anymore, but because I got really sick there for a while, and I couldn't maintain the effort of looking at Tumblr, if that makes sense. Like, I couldn't sort of keep up with it, even though I didn't have, like, that much stuff on my dash. It was just the amount of mental energy that it took to, like, just to look at Tumblr was too much, because I couldn't process it. And so then I've kind of gone in and out, like, I kind of lurk and wander in and out periodically, but I haven't really spent a lot of time on Tumblr for the last few years. But I went back recently because of Daily Dracula being such, like, a big thing, and some of the posts from Tumblr had made it to Twitter, and I was like, well, I have to go back and see if it's showing up on my dash at all. And I discovered that, like, because, like I said, I've only been sort of lurking in a very, like, intermittent kind of way. So, like, I discovered that, like, a lot of the people that I used to follow either don't post anymore, or have actively deleted their Tumblr. So, like, I have a much smaller, like, set of people on my dash, and I do get the occasional Dracula daily post, which is good, but I had forgotten, not really forgotten, but I guess I had just sort of lost the immediacy of how much fun Tumblr is, and so, like, I've been paying more attention to Tumblr, been on Tumblr more than previously. So that is really fun. I do really like Tumblr. It's just a very, like, it's got like you said, it has its own like very distinct vibe that is very different from other social media sites, and I like it. I enjoy it. I don't do a lot of like fandom stuff on Tumblr either, but I just like Tumblr. Cat stabilizing. Oh, the camera. Right. Yes, I think that there is a certain amount of like stabilizing effect that your brain just does. I also don't always notice when the thing is moving, because I'm just like thinking about what I'm doing and whatever, but like I try to be more aware of it because I know that like other people have to watch this and some people are bothered by the motion, so like I try to like pay attention to when it's wobbling, which sometimes I catch and sometimes I don't. You said fucking fireworks and like just kind of in the middle of a thing there, and man, I feel ya. Like, you know, as a kid I enjoyed fireworks, and like it's not that I dislike fireworks, but they just have become more of a problem, and I see how much more of a problem they are as I get older. Now I'm allergic to them because fireworks are just basically like corn bombs. So there's that, which is a problem. But also, like, you know, they're bad for pets. They're bad for people with like traumas that are activated by loud noises. They're bad for lots of things. And also, like, why are people this way? I mean, we had neighbors who were setting off fireworks for like 3 days, and it's like, why are you doing that? It's one day, and like for like a couple hours, you know, after dark. Like, you do not need to set them off in the daytime. You cannot see them. What is the point? So yes, fucking fireworks. I am on your side. Oh, you're talking about like the editing from old like YPO videos. Yes indeed. I don't know if I've ever really talked about this before. Like, I think I've mentioned it in passing probably a long time ago, but I don't know if I've ever really talked about it. But when we started, like, first of all, I was super paranoid because I didn't know what I was doing editing video, because I'd never made videos before, and so I felt really like anxious about trying to make them like, I mean, I didn't expect them to be good, like, you know, objectively, but like I wanted to make them as unterrible as I could, and so I was really paranoid about like I was afraid they were going to be really boring, and I didn't want there to be like dead space or whatever. So I was really worried about like trying to edit them tightly, you know? But also the real issue here is that I didn't have a built-in webcam, because that was back before laptops had built-in webcams, unless you bought like a super expensive one. And so it was just like this little cheap like clip-on one that attached with like a USB cable. And it had an autofocus that you could not turn off, and so it just constantly was going in and out and in and out all the time, like just constant autofocusing. And so if you notice, like if you watch my old videos, I'm very still in them, and like I don't gesture very much, whereas like now I talk with my hands all the time. This is how I normally speak, but I couldn't do it with the webcam because the autofocus was so sensitive, and like, so I had to just sit really, really still and not move very much, because if I moved even a little bit, the autofocus would go in and out, and so the whole video would go like whoa, you know, and it was very bad. And so between the fact that it took me a long time because I didn't really know what I was doing, and the autofocusing, so like my footage, I would generally try to do everything in one long take instead of having like a bunch of separate takes, that I would then have to edit down into one video. I would just try to do one long one and then edit that down because it was easier. But it would, so the because of the autofocus, then this one take would end up being really long because I had to like stop and wait for the autofocus to refocus, and then, try to re-say whatever the thing was I was trying to say, and then generally wait for the autofocus again, and I might have to do that several times. And so it would take so long to say even a short amount of stuff. So I would end up with these very, very long videos that I had to then edit down. And plus I didn't know what I was doing. Plus I was, worried about like leaving extra airtime. And plus I'm just not very, like, I don't have a lot of energy, so it would take me a long time because I was just really slow because I couldn't do very much one time. And so I got to the point where I would leave myself a 4-hour block to shoot and edit the video every week because I knew that I might not need that much time, but also I might. And now it's so much faster. I've given up editing, clearly, so like that makes it faster. But even back when I was still editing things, I had gotten much faster at it. I did not have to leave myself a 4-hour block. But yeah, when we started, I would make sure I had at least 4 hours, preferably more, but at least 4 hours where I could just sit and shoot the video and then edit it all together and then post it. And I am very glad I don't have to do that anymore because it's very tiring. But also, like you say, I think this is just more like natural and feels more like just chatting, and as opposed to vlogging, maybe. So yes. General knowledge and, like the hens and chicks, right? There are lots of, like, hi Lacey. There are lots of, like, general knowledge, random stuff that, like, I have. I don't feel like I know a lot about plants, really, honestly. But hens and chicks are, like, a pretty common, like, thing around here that people have. And that, I think, is probably why I know it. But I absolutely understand what you're talking about, like, your memory being an issue, like, where you amass some kind of knowledge and then immediately forget it, because I do that all the time with so much stuff, even with stuff that I really want to remember because it's really interesting and would potentially be useful, and it's gone immediately. I have to, like, it has to be either knowledge that I already had from a long time ago when my memory was better, or it has to be something that, like, I have some specific reason to remember. Even that, sometimes I don't. Or, like, something that I have, like, repeated enough times that I finally get it in there. I am, however, like, I am, I think, one of those people that, like, often just knows, like, weird stuff randomly out of nowhere. Like, my parents, if my parents have some kind of, like, random trivia question about something that they, came across, or some weird conversation they were having where they want to know something, I am always their immediate first option. Like, they will ask me rather than asking Google, and I don't really know why. In fact, they even ask me about stuff that, like, theoretically I should be asking them. Like, they will ask me questions about, like, music from the 60s, and I'm like, okay, do you see how this is not, like, time-wise, this is backwards? Do you understand that? And they're like, yes, but you are more likely to know than we are. Hi, nice. What are you doing? So, I have forgotten where I was going there. Came down to a project. Oh, I'm glad that you have, like, reread your thing and that it has given you, like, inspiration towards your novel. Like, I think that's great. It's I like that you have this whole plan for like an entire series of events leading up to posting the story on AO3. Like, it works. It's good. It's a good plan. I have pretty much given up on like nano as a thing. I think like I don't know. I haven't had very much fun with it. I like the idea of nano, and I really enjoyed the first few nanos that I did. I have not enjoyed recent nanos as much, and also I find like I hadn't really realized this until I saw other people talking about it elsewhere, but I find that I have not really enjoyed like the participating in nano part of nano, like since they did all this, the like updates and stuff on the site. They like kind of redid the forum, they redid the way everything works, and I didn't really feel it. I think ever since Chris Beatty retired, it has been different, and that is a problem. You guys are really like, you're distracting me, and I'm having a hard enough time keeping it together as it is. Hi, Lace. I'm not going to rub your tummy. I'm busy. Oh, you're talking about wearing your glasses and how you feel like your face looks weird when you take your glasses off. I think that's a thing. Like a lot of people who wear glasses all the time, like their faces look naked when they take their glasses off. My mom is a glasses wearer and is somebody who has always worn glasses, since she was a kid. And like, I remember her telling me that like her mom tried to get her to wear contacts when she was like a teenager, and but this was back before soft contacts, and she was just like, absolutely not, I'm not going to wear these are so miserable to wear, give me my glasses. And so yeah, she's always been like a glasses wearer, and I think you're quite right. I think there's definitely like I think there's a look that people sometimes have, not everybody, but some glasses wearers, when they take their glasses off, their faces just look like, sometimes you can identify people, like you are a person who wears glasses normally and you don't have your glasses on now, even if you didn't know them originally. I have written languages on here, and I remember that it was about Nella and Polish, but I don't remember exactly what I was going to say about it now. I should make better notes. I know this, and I say that every week, and I never do it. I continue to make very, very poor notes. This is why I was not like a note taker in school. I would just not do that. I really had a problem with, like, I had classes sometimes where the teachers would require you to take notes, and it was always very bad for me because, like, I find it distracting to take notes in a class. I know that sounds weird, but I find it very, like, I don't remember who said it, but there's some quotation about notes being, like, notes go directly from, like the words go from the mouth of the professor to the pens of the students without passing through the minds of either. I don't remember who said it. I'm paraphrasing it somewhat. But that is how it worked for me. Like, I couldn't really take notes and make it, like, work, because I would immediately forget everything that I had written down, and then I would find it much more difficult to go back and try to amass the knowledge from reading the notes. Like, it was just much easier for me to just sit and, like, pay attention and, like, focus on what the person was saying. If I could do that, I would generally remember the stuff. My memory was better than it is now. Note-taking was a problem for me. I have gotten on a whole, like, distracted thing again here. I keep getting on tangents. So I don't know what I was going to say originally there. I have no idea. I got way off subject. So yes, I'm done, I guess. Malone has just come in. The sneeze was him. He has allergies. I have to go let him out anyway. So I love you all. This is 25 minutes long. I'm very sorry. I will see you next week. I love you. Don't forget to be awesome.